Welcome back to Surviving and Thriving, where we share with you the things that we have learned as we have transitioned our family from struggling to survive disease to thriving right smack dab in the midst of it, in the hopes that something that we share with you will help you, enlighten you, and encourage you as you transition your family from struggling to survive disease to thriving right smack dab in the midst of it. What do I mean when I say struggling to survive disease? Well, usually when on the onset of a sickness or a disease, if you were one way and then you find yourself going through something um, later on, and now you find yourself in a serious health battle or in a health crisis, there's a lot that comes with that. There is a lot of fear, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of confusion that comes with that. But boy, I tell you what, there is a lot of chaos that comes with it, right? It can just totally interrupt your life, where your life could have been very organized, very stable, and very smooth, and then boom, this thing comes up, and you're now like, how am I going to pay bills? How am I going to make some money? What about my kids? If you have kids, how are we supposed to do these things that you were once doing with no problem? And now it's like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And there comes a survival mode with that. If you're not able to work, you still got to pay bills. If you have a spouse, they got to figure out, do I spend time taking care of my spouse, or do I go to work to make money so that they can be taken care of? These are hard things that come, and you can find yourself in a real financial bind. And emotions are high. You're not really knowing how to juggle all of this, where you might have used to sleep through the night, unless you had like a newborn, right? But you could have slept through the night. Now you might not be sleeping through the night because it could be touch and go, and there's pains and there's things going on. And kids still need to get to school and be fed, and the house still needs to be cleaned, and laundry still needs to be done because you need, clean clothes. And how are you supposed to do all of this? You don't have the strength. You don't have the energy. You're in the hospital. You're out of the hospital. You got all these things that are coming. Medications you normally never took. And all these things are happening, and you're in a real survival mode. You don't know how to do all of this. You don't really even have time to figure it out, but you're just trying to hold it together to make it day by day. You're just hanging on, right? With all your might. There is a survival mode that comes. That's what I'm talking about when it's a survival mode. It's a panic and it's a stress, and you're just trying to figure this thing out and hold it together just to make it, just to keep your head above water, just to keep breath in your body, just to keep your family together. I want to talk to you about that a little bit. It's so important not to stay in that place, because if you stay in that place, you're going to drown. Most likely you'll drown. You either won't make it through your health issue, it'll be tough on your family, and your family won't make it through. It's going to really be, it's a destructive place. It's not created for us to stay in that place for forever. So if you haven't watched my video on transitioning, I would really suggest you watch that video where I talk about transitioning from survival to a maintaining mode to a thriving, a place of where you're thriving, a position of thriving. But I don't really want to talk about the transition of it. I want to talk about your mindset right now when you're in a survival mode. The way that you get out of the survival mode is really mental. When you're in that survival mode, it's a hot mess, right? Unorganized, like just a hot mess. In order for you to get out of that, you have to come to a place in your life where you have to stop, right? And you have to say, I gotta get a grip on this. You gotta understand that your positioning in survival mode is depending upon you. It has nothing to do with your physical situation, whether you're healthier or not. It has nothing to do with that. You can be in a situation for a long time, and it's up to you how long that survival mode is going to last. But if you're having a health issue and it's going to be there for a while, it's chronic or whatever, it's just going to be there for a while. You have to come to a place in your mindset where you say that, you know what, I might not be able to control everything, but what I can control, I'm going to get control. You have to get a control and a grasp on things that you can in your life, or at least yourself. The situation may not change. Your health may not change, but your mentality changed. The way you think about things and how you handle things will change. So if you know that, these things are happening, you find yourself, I used to find myself out a lot, and then I go through these periods where for a few weeks I'm out of it because, I didn't eat for a day, or I didn't get no nutrition in, and I didn't expect not to. I thought I was running out, but we ended up being out all day, and by the time I got home, I was wasted because I didn't have anything to eat or drink during that day. Well, I had to learn that eventually I can't keep complaining about that. That can't keep happening to me. So I have to start preparing for those things. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I better make sure I got some food with me or some kind of a meal plan to help me to make it through that day should the situation arise and I'm at appointments all day, and all day an appointment lasted longer than it was supposed to. Things came up, all kind of things. You can have car problems, all kind of things can come up, but I need to make sure that at all times I'm ready to nourish my body and to do the things that I need to do. That's how you take your life from being chaotic and in survival into thriving, where you say, you know what, I know that if I don't get these things in my body, this may happen. I don't know what can happen in a day that may cause me not to be able to get those things in my body, but I'm going to make sure that no matter what the situation is, I can do what I need to do. Take control over the things that you can take control of. Another part of getting out of that survival mode, you guys, and stopping that and shortening that period is in your life, is you got to be determined and determine within yourself that you're going to face what you're going through. You're going to face it. You're going to look it straight in the eyes, and you're going to man up, woman up to that thing, and that you're going to fight it. Because if you don't do that, what's going to happen is that thing is going to dominate you, and it's going to dictate your day. It's going to dictate your life, and you're just all willy-nilly blowing with the wind, and you're a hot mess. You don't want to do that. You have to ground yourself. Come to a place within yourself where you say that, you know what, I'm going to face this thing, I'm going to fight this thing, and I'm going to get in control of what I can control. It's a mental thing. It's a mental place. We can go through things in life. Have you ever noticed, I've noticed this a lot in my life, where it's like it's a continual thing. You find yourself complaining about the same thing. You find yourself going through the same things over and over again in life. And then there's times where you come and you say, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of saying the same thing. I'm tired of complaining about the same thing. I'm tired of going through the same thing. Sometimes you want some new challenges in life. Like, I'm tired of these old challenges. You feel like the Israelites going around the mountain for 40 years, right? There comes a day where you have to say, you know what, it's time for that to stop. And so you have to look at what it is that you're going through, what it is that you're doing, and see how that you can stabilize that thing. But you're never going to even look at stabilizing it until you get tired of it, until you say, you know what, I want control over my life. But you got to get out of that survival mode. You have to do these things, because if you don't, survival mode eventually will drown you out. We're only created with that fight or flight for so long. We're not created to live in it for forever. So you got to find a way to balance yourself and steady your life out and say, you know what, I got to get my family out of survival mode. Doesn't mean that your health issue has gotten better. Doesn't even mean that it's gotten worse. Doesn't even mean that it's gone away or that it's changed. It just means that you're going to find your place in the middle of everything that you're going through. That even though your health could be doing this, and life could be doing this, and your finances is doing this, but who you are is right here, and you're keeping your family on an even plane. That you're not up with the highs and down with the lows, but you have found your equilibrium, and you're going to stay right here. This is your baseline. Right? And it's a mental thing. You have to make a mental decision to say that, you know what, I'm coming out of this and I'm gaining control over this right in the middle of it. I hope something in there was helpful for you. Remember, in all things, do you. Until next time, bye.